So, Nick, I'm wondering if motorists are indeed abiding by those calls to behave on the roads today.
Well, Tembekile, from what we've seen thus far this morning, that certainly is the case. But as you can imagine, there's thousands upon thousands of kilometers of tarred road and, of course, dirt road in South Africa where many motorists can still misbehave. And the Easter weekend is only really kicking into gear now, and we've already seen so much carnage on those on the road with those crashes down in KZN and Greytown, and of course also that fatal crash in the Eastern Cape. We're actually joining you from a little bit further south than we did yesterday at the Pumulani Toll Plaza. We're now at the Grasmere toll gate on the N1 heading towards south, and we haven't been able to get an exact number of the vehicles that are travelling southwards, but yesterday, as into the early hours of this morning and early on today, there's a rate of 2,000 vehicles per hour travelling north towards Polokwane, and of course also the other main artery down to a very popular holiday destination is of course the N3 down to Durban, where we've had over 1,500 vehicles per hour heading through various toll gates, the Moy Plaza, and of course Trigelezi head on down towards KZN as well. We did manage to speak to a couple of law enforcement officers off camera, and in this area that we have been covering, just out of Johannesburg heading towards south and also heading towards north as well, they've said it's been mostly quiet as various operations to try and keep South Africa's roads safe over the Easter period seem to be kicking into gear. Tembekile.
It's quite interesting, Nick, that in the last 2 years or so, when we speak to transport officials, often the focus has been on motorists and other people on the roads, but this year, or from last year, we've seen much talk about the behavior of pedestrians along the busy routes, and I'm wondering what is being done to ensure that we don't see as high a fatality rate among pedestrians as we did in December, for instance.
Well, of course, Tembekile, I mean, in many ways, that's the untold transport and traffic story in South Africa. We always get, and quite rightfully so, blown away and absolutely gutted by these horrific crashes that involve multiple victims that leave people maimed, injured, and in many cases, unfortunately, perish as well. But pedestrians also make up a big number of the people that perish on our roads. Just having a look at the Easter number of Easter road deaths numbers from 2016 heading into 2017. I mean, you had a whopping 156 people lose their lives in 2016 during the Easter weekend. Now, if that wasn't enough, we saw a spike of 51% up to 235 in 2017 for the same period. And a large contingent of those people that have lost their lives on our roads are pedestrians, and there was an appeal from Blade Nzimande, the new transport minister, to try and get people to act more responsibly, not only if you are behind the wheel, but if you are needing to cross busy highways, busy roads, if you perhaps heading home from a celebration using your feet instead of a vehicle, you are also a road user at the end of the day. So traffic officials, the government, appealing to South Africans to respect the rules of the roads, regardless if they are pedestrians or commuters. It is quite difficult at the end of the day, Tembekile, though, based on the fact that we are such a developing country. We have many informal settlements dotted all over the landscape here, and quite often the easiest way for a person to get from A to B when there are no other alternatives like a sky bridge or any other quieter roads is unfortunately crossing a road like this, and it's just a reality at the end of the day. And to my mind, government certainly could do a little bit more when it comes to raising awareness among pedestrians in terms of their rules and regulations that they need to adhere to, and also the responsibilities that they have to live up to ensure South Africa's roads are safe. Blade Nzimande, of course, very, very new in his job, but saying yesterday during various walkabouts and travelling on the very busy highways during this Easter weekend to raise awareness, saying that drivers are the key though, and they need to drive in such a way that not only where they're not only obeying traffic rules and obeying the rules of the road, but also at the end of the day inspiring other commuters to do exactly that. Tembekile.
Are we seeing then a general different approach to policing out there?
Well, from what I've seen this morning, I mean, I haven't seen an overt number. I mean, we've mostly been traveling around just outside of the Johannesburg Metro. And the reason I bring that up is that I spoke to the JMPD this morning, and Superintendent Wayne Minnar, the spokesperson for the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, says that they're focusing a lot of their efforts in the inner city and also in the surrounds of Johannesburg on night traffic. They're launching operations we can call Operation Nightlife, where they've seen that the majority of troubles that have been caused in South Africa's roads by drunk drivers and people abusing drugs and other substances as they celebrate the Easter weekend is within the city at night time. And essentially they will be out in full force, I'm told, as part of Operation Nightlife to make sure that Johannesburg's residents are not only obeying the rules of the road, but if they are drinking, they're not going to be driving, and if they are, in the words of Wayne Minnar, they will face the full might of the law. So roadblocks all around. So typically, I'm not too sure if that answers your question, but I haven't seen an overt number of roadblocks on the way to Crossmere today. We're going to try and head on through to the N3, that main artery down to Durban, another extremely popular holiday destination to go to during the Easter weekend for people living in Gauteng. And we'll certainly wait to see what the numbers are at the end of this weekend. We have a very, very big challenge ahead of us as South Africans to try and keep our roads safe. And to be honest, we haven't had the greatest of starts with those fatal crashes in KZN and Eastern Cape this morning.